Close your eyes for a minute. When your eyes are closed, try to picture a letter in an envelope handed to you by a stranger. The stranger shows you his ID card, Eliyahu Hanavi. He tells you that in this envelope is a letter to you personally from God. You look up again to see the stranger, but he has disappeared. You are left alone holding the envelope, and in it, a letter from God. Now, close your eyes and try to imagine what God wants to tell you. A letter from God to you. One day last month, I got such a letter. It was a photocopy handed to me from a person on the street, someone I don't know, written in Hebrew. I was offered this paper for giving the stranger a hand. As he handed it to me, the stranger said, "Read it once a day, and you will have a life of quality and clarity, guaranteed." The heading in bold said, "A letter from God." And this is what God wrote to me. The letter is written to you by God, who knows your whole life story. From before you were born, here it is. My dear, beloved son, do you remember me? Are you living with me in your life? Or do you just mention my name sometimes? Baruch Hu Baruch Shemo, Be'ezrat Hashem, Im Yirtzeh Hashem, in somewhat of a lip service. I want to remind you that I am your father, and I love you very much. I'm always with you, every time and everywhere. I know what is the very best for you. I do everything with your best interest in mind. I am, after all, bringing you closer to your life's destiny. You see only one piece of a gigantic puzzle, and from that one piece, you try to understand the whole entire picture. But it is simply not in your capability to understand. So let go. Relax. Believe me, I'm doing the best possible thing for you. I only put a person through a trial he can overcome or a test he can pass successfully. Rely on me. Trust me. Depend on me. Confide in me. Pray to me. Speak to me. I'm right here with you, always. I am the shachan. I am the doctor. I'm the boss at work. I am the peacemaker. I grant babies to parents. I'm in charge of how successfully you raise your children. I, and only I, give you the gift called life. Always remember that I'm the one who runs the world, and all your life's pain and suffering are given to you with love and abundant mercy. I never make mistakes. It is a pity for you to think, if only things would be different. If I would have done things differently. If only I wouldn't have said. All this is your evil inclination speaking inside. Stop blaming people, thinking it's his fault or it's her fault. It's just me, God. I am the one who created the universe, and I watch over you each and every second of the day. I do everything that is done in your life. All the people in your life are my messengers. Always remember that this test you are going through right now in life, as well as every other test life brings you, it is all my will. I hope that you will bring me into your life. Love you with a passion. Your father. Each time I read this letter, I get more strength to deal with any upsetting circumstances life brings about. It is probably the only technique that works when the self-help techniques of the Gentiles fail. Because it is not a technique, it is reality. Most techniques are only needed because there is no emunah. This is the message God told Moshe to relay to the Jews suffering in slavery. The Jewish nation was going through the worst Holocaust of all time, the longest Holocaust. The last 86 years before the Exodus were the hardest of the 210 years in Egypt. And this is the message God tells them. Imo anochi batzara. I am with him, the Jewish people, in his pain, 24/7. God appeared to Moshe in a burning bush, hinting to the fact that God too is to be found with us in the thorns. Not that God feels sorry along with us or has empathy for us, but much deeper than that. When we are in pain, he is with us there in the pain. At Mount Sinai, the Jews saw that there was a sapphire brick at God's feet. God was constantly mindful of the Jewish slavery, their toil with the bricks. He does not leave us to circumstances. Ehyeh asher ehyeh. Hashem tells Moshe, go tell the Jews that I am with them in the Galut. Literally translated, I am or I will be. What does this mean? That God is or that God will be? People tend to forget in their personal pain God's existence. God is in the suffering with you, and this is the beginning of your redemption from your personal Mitzrayim. Mitzrayim is like the word Metzar, suffering or straits, but in the plural form, many sufferings. Min ha-metzar karatika. I call out to God from my suffering, because that's when God is so close, despite his hiding so well. Sometimes the best hiding spot is right in front of your nose. And when God hides himself the most, he also hides himself much closer to you than you could imagine.